would love your calls on whether the Tories are finished. The Conservative Party conference kicked off yesterday. Things aren't looking good for them, to say the least. The former Conservative Attorney General, Dominic Grieve, has warned new hard-right policies are a death wish for his party. He's on the left of it, though. A new poll says 63% don't think Tories will recover by the next election. 2 in 3 think the party's broken. The leader, Kemi Badenoch, has insisted her approach to changing the party will pay off.
The fact is, I was elected to do exactly what I am doing now. And I think Conservative Party members are going to keep their faith in me.
And if things go terribly and you fall backwards at the elections in May, will you resign?
I have said that I'm the person who was elected to deliver exactly as I'm doing now. We've come out with new policies. We have shown that we've done the hard work. We're not going to waste our time in opposition. But the fact of the matter is that we're the only party that can deliver both a stronger economy and stronger borders.
OK, well, look, there's some data that has gone to Sky News, which has been leaked from, it looks like, organisers at the party conference. It's a bit of a thicket of data, but basically it's looking at the people they've got there this year and the people they had at the conference last year. And the key thing is this one, the members, last year 3,800, this year 2,660, which is a big old drop of more than 25%. And the young Conservatives, who are the future of the party, has gone from 724 to 509, which looks to me like, again, a 30% drop. So that's bad. From their point of view, because they need a conference, you know. A Conservative spokesman said this out-of-date report does not reflect the strength of Conservative Party Conference 2025. Right. James, is it game over? And I mean over.
I don't think you can say over with any particular movement, because we've had over for the Labour Party in the past.
Yep.
We've had over for the Lib Dems, and they do come back. But is Kemi Badenoch doing the right thing to reinvent her party that will deal with the 14 years of wasted opportunity that they had, the mistakes that they've made, both with policy and delivery of those policies? No. People are not ready to forgive the Conservatives, to which they gave the power on a number of occasions, because they are not feeling wealthier. They are not feeling as if the policies are going to deliver. And in fact, all Kemi Badenoch has done is just pick up the sort of the most toxic bits of wherever she can to sort of grab them together.
Well, she's got some quite big ones now. She has. What is it? Getting rid of 750,000 migrants in 3 years, leaving the ECHR, the European Court of Human Rights.
But the thing is, these things, look, rather like Zach Polansky, the Greens, it's throwing out a huge piece of meat, getting everybody excited, and then a lack of delivery. So, for example, we heard time and time again that we're going to stop the boats and all this sort of stuff, and they didn't do any of it. And we've also heard about grow the economy, and then they just slapped up tax rates. So until or unless there is a coherent, not only narrative that comes from the Conservative Party so that people know what they stand for, there needs to be policy that people can genuinely understand, and they haven't.
Well, I can understand it. They want to be like Reform. They're going to the right because
so if you want to be like somebody,
let me ask Saira about that. What do you think?
Well, listen, they're not listening to the people of this country. When you poll the people of this country, what really matters to you? Inflation, jobs, economy, public services, all these. So, you have got a great opportunity, the Tory party, the Conservative Party, to actually fill this gap. And the only gap the Conservatives can fill properly is when you're talking about the economy and you're talking about business, OK? Because let me tell you, if you're going to base your whole campaign on the small boat and immigration, that is a trap. And if you are not bright enough to look at that, you are just going to go downhill, you're going to become invisible, and you are going to allow Reform to take that narrative.
The thing about it, everything you've said may be, but if you were a Tory minister and you say that, all I'm going to say as the interviewer is, you had 14 years, right? And there's no answer to that. You had 14 years.
But that's...
and you didn't do any of it.
Exactly, but that's the point.
Of a global... You're living in a global environment. 14 years of lots of other stuff going around. And if you are not brave enough to say, yeah, we did have 14 years, but we're going to come back and this is what we're going to focus on, because look what Labour are doing...
Are you secretly quite conservative?
Because what Labour are doing to the business is destroying, and what the Reform are doing, if they've got no policies, they're just focusing on small boats. So you've got a a great gap.
If I was the Tories, I was watching this, I would say let's ring Saira. Because,
well, absolutely.
because
you
they
should.
need...
Because this is about the economy and nothing else.
Okay,
and just
can I
to
go
let
to a
you
call?
know,
But there is one
and you can
important
talk
point.
about
Okay.
immigration in a humane way, because guess what? In this country, we are an ageing population and we will need a migration.
Okay. Eric in North Yorkshire, what do you think? Are they finished?
No.
Absolutely.
I believe that Labour only got the landslide victory of a third of the votes in the last election. They didn't really get any more than the previous election. So if you've got three main parties that get thirds of the votes each, you've got to be pretty much swings and roundabouts.
Well, yeah, but the thing is this, that the Reform Party now is just hoovering up so many Tory votes, isn't it? That's the problem for them. There's now somewhere else for their supporters to go.
They have hoovered up a lot of the supporters, certainly, but I think after what Labour have done with this, with a year and a bit they've had in policy in government, they made so many false promises that a lot of voters are going to migrate from the Labour Party.
Well, it's true. If you're the Tories, this should be good news, James.
It should be good news in the sense that Labour have given, as you say, a whole range of promises and not delivered. In addition to that, they've given you headlines, and then the policy has either been ideologically driven and nasty, or alternatively, it's done exactly the opposite to what they said they were going to do. So, yes, you're right, the Conservatives have every opportunity, but they're not taking them.
They're not.
And when Saira says the economy drives everything, you are right. And the reason that you're right is actually you do need to have strong borders, you do need to have defence forces, you do need to have education and the NHS and all these other things. You can only do that if you grow the economy. If you do what the Greens are saying and what Labour are doing, which is basically plundering the back garden and taking money out of people's pockets.
They're just taxing people to death.
They're taxing people
to
and if
death.
you don't tax from a growing economy, then you can do it once.
But I feel like you're both attacking Labour now. But I mean, Labour.
Well, it's not surprising. They're doing such a poor job.
Labour say they're trying to dig us out of the mess the Tories created.
Well, that's a whole load of nonsense. I mean, and that's because.
All right. For that.
And I think there are people up and down this country. I think it's worth making the point. There are people up and down this country who gave the Tories their vote, and the Tories did not deliver. Labour was kind of a protest vote, and Labour is similarly not delivering. So the danger for both the Labour and the Tories is that Reform have never been in power.
The problem that Labour got into is that they promised growth, which is what you think the Conservatives should do. No government can promise growth. Doesn't work. You can't do it.
We need a proactive economic vision.
Lee in North Yorkshire, are the Tories finished?
Sadly, I think they probably are, speaking as a former Conservative Association chairman locally. I think the threat from Reform and just the failure of the last Conservative government means that the writing seems to be on the wall for the Tories. Really? OK, so is there... I suppose Reform are a one-man party. That's the one thing, if you're Kemi Badenoch, you'd be thinking is Farage might get bored, he might have a health crisis, whatever. He's got 4 years. He's got to survive to lead his party into the election. He might not get there. Who knows? He's already had one plane crash.
I think that's something they can possibly hope for, but they've obviously got to do more than that if they're going to turn it around. Well,
you know what I mean?
That would be a bit mean-spirited.
Well, I was going to say.
Lee, can I ask you, as a former Conservative Party voter, what do you think they can do to reposition, and what do you think they should focus on?
I think they've got to try and show themselves to be competent, because the last government just wasn't competent. They've also got to put forward a vision, because the last Conservative government didn't seem to have a vision. People didn't know what they actually wanted to do with the country. It was just crisis management. So I think competence and policy is key. That's very difficult to do coming from the position they're from. But I think they've got to offer something different to Reform, show that they're more competent than Reform, and actually put forward some policies which are going to appeal to voters. That's crucially what they've got to do.
They're so split ever since, ironically, although James, you supported Brexit, ever since Brexit, they've been split down the middle. It hasn't worked out the way they wanted it to.
Well, that's because they didn't deliver.
Well, yeah, but that's part of it.
This is the problem, that if as a politician you do not deliver on your promise, then for a period of time you are unelectable. And this is the problem that Conservatives have, is that they promised a whole range of things. They did not deliver, and competence is part of it. The economy should always be central. And when Liz Truss talked about it, yes, great, fine. But then the incompetence of the policies that they put together. You have to bring the markets with you. You have to bring people with you. You have to bring business with you. They didn't do any of that.
They're going after the populist issues, and that is going to get them nowhere. It's going to make them invisible because the other side is more vocal.
That's very arguable because arguably the reason reform is so big is that reform have gone straight to where people are, which is we are sick and tired.
Yeah, but when you poll people,
sick and tired of this and that and the other.
When you poll people, about voting and what's important to them, the votes don't come up. I can't live under these conditions.
Cost of living.
Cost of living.
Okay, Mike is in Derby. Hang on, James. Mike is in Derby. Hi, Mike.
Good morning, young man. How are you?
Very nice of you. Well, I'm okay. I mean, I'm just trying to work out. I suppose I'm very reluctant to say the Tories are finished because we've had that before, as James says. 1981, Labour. Oh, my God, it was absolutely a car crash, Michael Foot and all that. But they came back, didn't they?
Yeah, here you go then. I'll give you my opinion, mate. At the moment, our politics is in the worst state I've ever known for all of my life. And I'm 79 years old.
What do you mean, our politics? What do you mean by that?
The parties.
As in we've got really low-calibre politicians?
Yes. We've got one party that belong in a circus. It's just a joke.
Wait a minute. The Reform Party. Okay, yeah. I wasn't wanting to jump there. Yeah.
No, it's a joke. You got the Labour Party, who conned and lied his way into power. There's no question about it. They said they were not going to do this, that, and the other, and they turned it all around and gone against exactly what they got voted on.
By the way, you may find they put up income tax in the November budget as well. So
that's it,
That's
mate.
another one for you.
Coming. Yeah, and I'm afraid that the Conservatives, they'll bounce back. Of course they will. But, give them a bit of time. But again, I think what happened, they were in for too long to start with, and it became the same old, same old. Did you see what I mean?
I do see what you mean. I think in the end, if you look at it as a 14-year thing, halfway through they did Brexit, and that just took the wheels off, and it caused so much destabilisation. And then COVID, actually. Thank you, Mike. Later, the papers and everything else find out which party is seeking to abolish all landlords. After the break, we're asking if it's right to shut half of post offices. That is Labour's proposal, because they're not financially viable.